Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, investors of Earth. How you like that? I'm back with the investors of Earth thing. All right. So, how I hope anyone who is actually here is well. This is the second live episode of my weekly to be market recaps. So far, I'm batting 1,000. I said that both the SPY and the Qs would be in the red, and I gave my worst case scenario. Now that didn't happen. Worst case scenario did not happen, but I was directionally right. So let's go ahead and get to the charts to talk about the recap, what happened, and what I think may happen next week. So we're going to start off with QQQ. You can see that on this day, on Friday, March 8th, I said we're going to go down. Worst case scenario is going to be 3.3%. This purple box area is the gap that we created on 22 February. We created a big gap up, right? Big gap up. And we actually closed right at that gap. It's pretty interesting how that worked out. You see how we're at the bottom of the wick. This yellow line is the gap. It's literally right there. Let's see how much we're down. Hello, Christoph. So from the close of Friday, 8 March to the close of Friday, we went down 1.16%. I gave worst case scenario closing the gap around 3.3, but that didn't happen. But we are down a little bit over 1.3%. Now, go ahead and delete this so that we can see it a little bit clearer. This yellow line, okay, now I'm going to delete my prediction because that didn't happen, and I talked about it, but we are down. So I'm 1 for 1. I'm right directionally, but worst case scenario didn't happen. So now why is this level that we close below this level, why is this so important? Well, this level is so important because once we break this level, we now created a lower low, right? We keep on having higher highs and higher lows. Higher high, higher low. This is higher than this one, and this one is higher than this one, right? I'll draw it. So this was the previous high. Then this was the next high. Looks like a staircase, right? Then this was the low, and then this was the low. You can see how they're directionally up. So you got higher highs and higher lows. Now, whoops, not replay. Stop. No, I didn't hit that stupid replay. There we go. So then we got sagged out in this area, right? So higher high and then slightly higher high, higher high, and then higher low, and then higher high, and then we tied the low. We tied the high. So you see here, slightly higher high, higher low, then this low, and then another higher high, and then we tied the low, and then we tied the high, right? And then we actually made, if you want to count this, even though it's only 2 days, it is technically a higher low, right? But then this is a lower low. So this is the first time we failed to make a higher high. So lower high here, and then look what happened. On the third time, we tied the low. So that's 3 times now. That is 3 times that we failed to make a higher high and tie the low. Some people might look at it more bullishly and say, well, Gabe, it didn't make a lower low either. So it failed to go through it. And yes, you could say that. So all in all, we are lower. And even though we are in this longer term rising wedge on the chart, which is a regular chart, not the logarithmic chart, this is still a key area to break, right? We have to break this area in order to make a lower low. Once a lower low is made, we would now have made a lower high and a lower low. And that to me is bearish, but it has to close at least 2 days below this level. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, this is just a prediction, and I'm not Nostradamus. So when I look at all of the data, I see the RSI is declining, right? It is going in a downward momentum, and we are below this yellow line, which is the average RSI. We are below it. When it's below it, some technical analysts say that is, bearish, not a huge bearish sign, but it's somewhat bearish. So we have two things now. We have declining downward, and we're below this yellow line. And then what is price action doing? Well, price action from here to here, right, is actually going sideways, right? One would say from here to here it was going up, but if we label it from here to here, it's going sideways. Basically, it's just slightly down, but I'm going to go ahead and say sideways. So what we have is we had a divergence from RSI and price, because RSI is trending down, but price is trending up. And I believe that on Friday, the price and the RSI started to converge, which just means it's a fancy way of saying doing the same thing. And I believe that price is converging, right? And they are going to both start to go down. But I can't say that for sure until we break this level. So that we can move on to the SPY and that this video isn't too long, I'll go ahead and cut to the chase. I do believe that this next week is also going to be bearish. So I'm going to call again bearish, right? And I think that this low is going to be very hard to break. I don't think we're going to break it in 1 week, but I'm going to go ahead and put that at as my worst case scenario. Go ahead and change the color to yellow. But this is my worst case scenario. So I think that we're going to be bearish for this upcoming week, and bearish worst case scenario will be around, what is that? 421 on the Qs. Okay, so that's what I got. I am bearish. I don't think that's a big that's going to be a pretty hefty drop. So that'll be from Friday to Friday, 22 March. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but it's almost 3%. I don't think it's going to happen, but it can. All right, so let's look at the SPYs. Okay, so on the SPY, I was also correct, although the SPY was not as volatile as the Qs. So on Friday, we closed, we barely lost anything on the SPY. We had a close of 510. And then on Friday, even though we went all the way down to 508, we actually closed the day 0.07%. So it was basically just sideways. Now the reason that is still bad is because we are teasing this rising wedge. We are teasing this rising wedge. We are below it, but it could be a fake out, could go back up. We have to wait and see. But I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase. I'm also going to be bearish. I'm not catastrophizing, but I am bearish. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this because this was last week. And let's see where my new area is. Okay, my new area for SPY that I think we have to break. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative for SPY than I was for Qs. And I'm going to say we have to, I think we're going to break this level. And I think that this level is worst case scenario. So I'm going to say that, what is that? 503.61. Bearish with 503.61 being worst case. All right, everyone. That's pretty much it. These recap videos are not long and not extremely detailed. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Thank you for being here. So I'm bearish with a worst case scenario of 503.61. And I do think, I do think that the most likely worst case scenario is 507.11. I could be wrong and it could close lower, but I am bearish. So as long as we close below 509, I was correct. So everyone, that's it. That's my weekly forecast and prediction for QQQ and SPY. I got link in the pinned comment if you're interested in learning stock options with the best possible class. I am biased for your money. I teach a very awesome, if I may say so myself. I've gotten great reviews from the people that have already purchased it. It's a 10-hour deep dive in basic / slightly intermediate options, strategies, and explanation. This is for beginners, people who don't know much. If you're interested in learning about it, this course is the best bang for your buck, in my opinion. $150, 10 hours, March 30th and March 31st. All right, so that concludes today's episode 2 of weekly market recap and prediction. Thanks for coming, everyone, and you guys have a great one. Bye-bye.